channel. My name is Shanay Braxton and I'm a travel and lifestyle content creator. And today we are going to compare my experience apartment shopping in Marrakech, Morocco versus my experience apartment shopping here in Los Angeles, California. If you have experience shopping for an apartment in either one of these cities, drop a comment and let me know what was your experience. This is week 1 of my life in LA. I got here on Sunday and it's been non-stop. I have so much to do. I need a place to stay. Yesterday was a mess. I scheduled some visits, but they ended up not working out. So right now I'm headed to one of the viewings that I scheduled for today. Moving in real life is not that glamorous. Heading to studio number 1. Let's get the comparison started. The areas we're gonna cover in this video are my criteria for both cities and resources I use to find apartments in both cities. Let's start with my criteria for Marrakech, Morocco. The first criteria was to either live in the new city, Gilis, or in the Medina. The second criteria was the apartment had to be less than 5,000 dirhams per month. And that would equate to about 5,000 dirhams, $550-ish. I was also looking for a studio specifically because I knew that studios would fit within that 5,000 or less budget that I was looking for. I love living in walkable neighborhoods. That was one of the criteria as well. Do I have quick access to food and shopping within the neighborhood where I can walk to and not have to worry about driving? Also, was it in quick access to public transportation? That was a criteria as well. In Morocco, in both the new city and the Medina and all around the city, transportation is pretty easy to access. Next is my criteria for an apartment in Los Angeles, California. First criteria is that the apartment had to be less than $1,500 per month. I was also looking for a studio apartment here in Los Angeles as well, similar to looking for a studio apartment in Marrakech, Morocco. Notice the price difference. $1,500 is about the average price for a studio or 1-bedroom apartment here, and that would be considered on the low end. I was fortunate enough to find an apartment that was below budget and just have a comfortable living situation without an extremely expensive rent. That's where I am at the moment. So that's also one of the criteria, is that the rent would be less than $1,500 per month. The other criteria was that it be a studio apartment, and it's the same reasoning because most studio apartments are gonna fit within that price range or lower. Another criteria was being in a walkable neighborhood. The neighborhood that I'm in now is extremely walkable. There's a plant shop nearby. There are 3 grocery stores within walking distance for me. There's a gas station around the corner. Everything is in walking distance. I will say it took me a little bit of time to adjust to this apartment. At first I picked it, and then when I came back to look at it again, I was like, I don't like this place. And now that I've moved in and I've decorated and, you know, made it feel more like my space, it's growing on me. And so I'm grateful because it's a great starter apartment, great starter experience for us. Another criteria was that the apartment was not far from my brother and sister. They're about a 10-minute drive from where I live currently. So that was a criteria as well. I'm gonna head to the leasing office now because they'll give me a list of all of their listings in this area. We'll see how everything turns out. Some scary, some look nice on the inside. So it's definitely a variety of things that I'm seeing here in this neighborhood. So yesterday I saw 3 places. We'll see how many places we get to today. The next topic we're gonna cover in today's video was how did I find apartments in Marrakech, Morocco and Los Angeles, California. And there are some similarities in how I found apartments in both places. Starting with Marrakech, Morocco, there was no online experience for me. I was strictly on foot and offline. And the crazy part was that it was during Ramadan. If you know what it's like to live in a Muslim country during Ramadan, you know that at a certain certain time during the day, the streets are empty because everyone's breaking fast. Me getting off work, coming into the city and apartment shopping, and I'm just hitting the ground and I'm in this desert climate. So it was quite an experience. And one day I ran into a gentleman who was very nice, and I told him I was apartment shopping, and he said he would keep a lookout for me. I stayed in contact with him, and over a month he reached out and said, hey, I think I might know someone who has a place available. It was between Ivernage and Gillies, which is a really beautiful neighborhood. It's right across the street from a garden. It was a really nice apartment. It was a studio. Here in Los Angeles is a bit of a different experience, because most of my shopping was done online. I used apartments.com, Craigslist.com, hotpads.com, Facebook groups. I even shopped for apartments on foot. There was a combination of online and offline for me for the apartments shopping in Los Angeles. I called over hundreds of numbers to leasing offices and apartment buildings asking to view the different apartments here. So a lot of my efforts have been based on foot and offline here. And actually I found this apartment on apartments.com or hotpads. I can't even remember at this point. It's all a blur. In terms of the communication in finding an apartment in Marrakech versus Los Angeles, I'll start first with language. In Marrakech, I was apartment shopping in Darija, the local language. I would use terms like شحال الثمن بالشهر، واش ممكن كنقص الثمن شوية، حيت أنا كنقص 3000 درهم ماشي 5000 درهم. Those kind of terms help me to negotiate different prices. So I was asking, is it possible for you to reduce the price? I can pay 3,000, not 5,000. And that's one of the differences in shopping for an apartment in Marrakech versus shopping for an apartment in Los Angeles, because I didn't negotiate price here. When I was shopping for the apartment, I would just filter my search to the budget that I was looking for, and then it aggregated all of the available apartments within those neighborhoods. I reached out to property managers, and then in terms of response time, sometimes it was instant and sometimes it was delayed. It really just depended on the property manager. I would even send text and call as I'm walking down the street. In LA, I was on foot and I was online. So with that being said, I had the opportunity to experience instant responses and also delayed responses. And for this particular studio, I actually received a delayed response. It was a couple of days after, but it hadn't crossed my mind that it was a delayed response because I was in so much contact with so many different property managers looking at so many different places. It was just like, at that time, my call log had hundreds of calls a day, not hundreds, but so many calls a day where I was reaching out, texting people about different places. And then in Morocco, when I found the apartment that I liked, that was negotiated in Darija, and I had one of my really good friends with me at the time, Hayeb. She was living in Marrakech as well, and she met up with me the day that I was going to take a look at the apartment. And when we got inside of the apartment, we talked about the price, how much per month, and her Darija is way better than mine, so she was able to help me communicate a lot of what my needs were in terms of negotiating the price, in terms of including internet in my monthly rent fee as well. And then I also called one of my host moms, took good care of me, and I built a strong relationship with in Wellness when I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I called her up on the phone and I had her talk to my landlord and tell him I'm a good person, I've been here for years, and you know, rent me out this place and give me a good price, like give me the Moroccan price. And so those were my experiences in terms of the communication between Marrakech and Los Angeles. Let me know what your experience has been apartment shopping. I'm excited to share more of this journey with you because this is a totally new experience for me, and my whole lifestyle is about to change. So I'm really excited to be on this path and share it because it's my story and I like sharing it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't heard about why I moved to LA, then I highly recommend you check out this next video. I look forward to hearing from you, and until next time, bye!